Good morning, my fellow teachers. Today, I'm going to demonstrate to you on ADDIE, the model that I've used in designing my Year 7 ICT lesson, which is going to be on input and output device here. Okay, basically, a little bit so much on ADDIE is that it's a 5-phase framework, mainly analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. Okay. Each phase built directly on the one way form, meaning to say, if I'm going to design something, first thing it has to be based on the analyze part. So if you look at design, before designing, there is analyze. So I'll have to analyze my market or my students, and then I would design, and then the next stage after design development will be based on my design. So that is why it's actually basically built on the one process or one phase before it. It is cyclical, meaning to say, once we go to the last stage, we evaluate, it would go back to analyze in order to refine, to give the learner a better or perhaps a greater learning experience. Okay. So it's widely used by teachers and trainers. So without further ado, we will go into the first phase, that's analyze. So why it matters? Okay, if you look at this, ensures the lesson is built around the students and not actually need or not guesswork. Basically, we wouldn't want the learners or my year 7 students in particular, because that's my market I'm going to talk about now. I don't want them to memorize. I want them to recognize. I want them to do things independently, not recognizing, but doing logically, reasonably, reasoning out things. Okay. So first we identify our learners. In my case, it is going to be year 7 ICT students. Okay. Define the topic scope. So what I will do is that I will tell them today we are going to learn about input and output. What is it all about? A little bit of a short description, and then pinpoint the learning gap. So most of them would already know what is input and output already. So we need to tell them what is that they need to know that they have not known yet. Okay, so that will be the learning gap, and that is our catch, where we could basically know what is the level of the students' understanding at this juncture. So it's easier for us to teach them better. And then we will check our available resources. We need maybe a PowerPoint presentation, or we need some live input and output devices for them to recognize. So we get all these analyzed first, then we would go into the second phase, which is supposed to be the design. Now here, this acts as a blueprint where every resource and activity is mapped out before anything is built. So design here is going to be very important. So we write out our clear objective. That means students are supposed to clearly know what is the objective of input and output device. We describe what is input and output device all about. We have to plan our sequence and timing, how long. Okay, for example, we teach input first, then we will go on and teach output. It doesn't really look good if you teach output first and then you put input. So what? Okay, so we need to sequence all these. All right, and then we would choose engaging strategies, like we will have matching games or a real device mapping games. Like, for example, we show them many devices, so they will have to match which is an input, which is an output. So eventually, the learning will be checked through quizzes or worksheets, or sometimes brainstorming discussions to see their level of understanding. So this would be the design I have proposed or used in my class. And then we'll go to the third phase, where we build the slide deck and the real, that means turn the design into a real ready-to-use teaching materials for the classroom. So what we would do is that we would build the slide deck with real images. That means get real devices. Okay, like what I did, I got my lab tech to prepare all, like for example, the monitor, the printer, the mouse, the keyboard would help. So the lab tech brings it in, and then we could set up as a demo for them to see. Okay. Or worst case, we can even use images. Okay. And then we prepare a short picture gallery, how these devices are used, in the real world. And of course, we can gather sample devices like what I did. I told you just now, we can get that. Okay. And then we will go to the next phase, which is implementation, where we bring the whole design to life. And this is where students actually learn and engage. So we deliver the lesson, we describe what is input and output, and then we give them hands-on device sorting activities. It could be either images where they can sort, or the real devices where they will keep, where they will place which is input, which is output, and so forth. See, and then after that, we can spark discussion. We can ask them questions like, is what do you call handphone, your smartphone is an input or output device? Actually, it's both. So we would facilitate, we teachers, while they are brainstorming, because they are students, they are year 7s. So we will come in to support. Lastly, but not the least phase is evaluate, measures whether learning actually happened and shapes improvement for the next cycle. So we run a quiz or the exit ticket. That's what we do on input and output devices. Okay, so we review or mark their worksheet or matching activity result, what do you call activities. Or like myself, I use a lot of Bluecut or Kahoot, so it gives me not only demographic graphs, that I can see their performances in the bar charts or pie charts, but I also get to know their marks, and then I also get to know which questions most of them were not well versed with. So we can use that for our teaching and learning methodology. And then we collect students' feedback and reflect. Okay, these two are very important. As I told you, after evaluate, we'll go back to the first, because it's cyclical analysis. So we would use all these to analyze again, to refine our next round teaching. So this is how it's a cycle, ongoing cycle, where the teaching experience become better and more efficient. Okay. So that's about ADDIE, which I incorporate. So a little bit, so much in conclusion, it's learner centered, it's built for year 7. What they need to know is structured, because we went step by step, right from design up till, okay, analyze, up till evaluation. Okay. And then it's continuous. There is no stop, because it goes on, especially input and output device, computers, IT related stuff. They are always ongoing. So it goes on and on and on. And then it's concept driven. So we're talking about devices, input and output devices and their functions. So we will be basing the whole 5 stages, 5 phases on that. And we will get the best of it. So I presume from here you understand how I do it, and we can use that as a context to carry out any other topic. So thank you. And I think I will call it off here. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation.